fucking nostalgia like me. I wanna know.
All right. Okay. I think that gets me. I scoot back just in case. All right. So I made the video about Scarface, but I didn't include the rest of the guns. So let me go into. How about the oldest one I have? Let's do that. So, Whammy, we covered Whammy. I mean, not Whammy, Scarface. Let's put you down here. And so this is my Glock 17, longest lasting firearm that I own, except for my Browning 270. My dad bought that for me when I was 12 or 13 years old. This is the gun I had during the AM/PM situation, the attempted robbery. And what else? I had this. Oh, the other story. The racist guy that called me and my boy a nigger in traffic. I had this with me then. I think I've only told like 4 stories. In fact, the other 2, I have my Ruger SP101. So, I've had this since 2006. It is the 20th anniversary Glock. It's getting up there in age, so you probably cannot see the fact that it says 322 of 2006 made. Only 1,003 of them made it to 1,001 made it to America. So it's 322 out of 2006. It has Gaston Glock's signature, and it says 20 years of perfection going across it. Now, my guide rod somehow broke in this gun, and I cannot remember how that happened. However, I went to a gun show. Hold on, you guys. I went to a gun show in Monroe, and they had a 22-pound steel guide rod. At the time, I didn't even know what I was getting. Like, I just knew I needed a new guide rod for my Glock, and so I bought it. It was like $28 or something like that. It was $20-something. So I bought it and threw it in there. Boom. So it has a steel guide rod. It's the mag that I usually keep in it. And so, steel guide rod. Last time I tried to show something in the camera, I was all the way out of vision. So, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but it's got a steel guide rod. You notice the barrel is looks like chrome. I do that to all my Glock barrels except for Scarface. But you know, most everything in here is stock. You know, I didn't touch the I'm not, we're gonna stipple it because it's 20th anniversary, so I tried to leave as much as possible in their stock. In fact, the only things I changed was the guide rod because it broke, and the connector. I still have the original connector, but I've got a 3.5 Ghost connector in there to improve that trigger. Yeah, parts are stock. That I polished these pins. They were already half black and half chrome looking, and so instead of the half look, I just polished it all out. 22-pound steel guide rod. Never had a problem. Not ever, not once have I ever had a malfunction in this gun. And this gun has seen, I would probably say, around 5,000 rounds. If I had to guess, I'd say between 5 and 10,000 rounds. Yep, so when you do this, you actually end up polishing the feed ramp. Now, for those of you who are not aware of why that would be of any type of importance, let me be truthful with you. Most of the time, yeah, that's never a problem. A polished feed ramp versus a non-polished feed ramp is not a big deal. However, there's not a malfunction I haven't seen. And I have seen several malfunctions where the bullet got stuck trying to go up into the chamber because this had gotten so dirty from shooting that it kind of got stuck, and it ended up doing this instead of this. It happens. It happens. If you've never seen it happen, it's just because you haven't shot enough. But it happens. And so that's why people like to do that, because it helps with that situation. Even it getting dirty, because it's polished, it's so slick that once it starts getting dirty, that stuff will just slick right off anyway. Okay. So that's a plus. And besides that, it was just literally just, for the different look, giving it that almost two-tone kind of thing. Everything else in here is stock, buddy. Everything in here is stock. I haven't touched anything besides guide rod and connector. So that is my Glock 17, my oldest handgun. My oldest handgun, because I also have my grandfather's handgun when he passed away. Alright. Okay. Next, Glock 29. Now, if you look at this gun, visually, yuck. What in the hell did you do to that thing, Eugene? Look at that. Yes, buddy. That is a butcher of a job. Horrible looking stipple job. Now, here's the story. I bought this after the AM/PM situation. And I wasn't gonna do any stippling to it. In fact, when I bought it, stippling wasn't even a thing. But at the very beginning of the stipple thing, everyone started doing it. But before everyone was doing it, when it literally had first started, I wonder who's the first person to do that. That's a good question. Who was the first person to stipple their gun and come up with that idea? I'm gonna have to research that. A buddy of mine, Robert, who worked at the gun range with me, he was my fill-in at the range, and he's a tattoo artist, and so he was like, "Hey, let me stipple your Glock 29." I'm like, "No," And he's like, "Oh, come on, man." He was like, "No charge." I'm like, "What do you mean, no charge? I don't want it done, But I gave it some more thought, and I remembered what that Marine Recon guy said to me. And I said, "You know what? Go ahead, man. Go ahead." And he was like, "All right, cool." It was his first stipple ever. He had never stippled a gun, period. And like I said, this is before it became a big deal. I want to say this was in like 2010, I want to say. No later than 2012, I can tell you that, but it wasn't before 2008. Anyhow. So he took it, I gave it to him. He came back, and when he came back with it, at the time, you didn't see those stipple jobs were from 5 Beat Works, and all the really professional, nice looking stipple jobs that you see today did not exist then at all. Okay, it was just starting to happen. And so at the time, this didn't look bad at the time. Now that everyone has advanced, blah blah blah, this thing looks horrible, right? However, although it looks horrible, it still feels good. Now I can stipple myself. I stippled Scarface, and I'm not the greatest at it. It doesn't look super pretty, but it does work. I have a specific method when stippling that I believe makes for the best possible grip when stippling. And I'm not going to tell anybody how to do that, but I do it a certain way. And he just did it, his way. You can kind of see that, being a tattoo artist, he kind of did something funky here where it was thin and it got thicker and it came up here and it came up there, his idea. And also, I had never seen someone stipple up here prior to me having him do it up here. Because when he asked me, where do you want it stippled? I said, well, wherever my hand goes. And so he's like, okay, well, show me your grip. And so that's what, everywhere my hand goes, that's where he stippled. Okay. So, and even stippled the front here. He stippled this too, because I put my finger up here when shooting. Now, a lot of people say, don't put your finger up there, it throws blah, blah, blah off. But everybody has their own way of shooting that they're comfortable with and that they shoot best doing, and I put my finger up in the front when I do that. In fact, the rise of it coming up, I can better control that with this finger. And because it's stippled, I can really get a grip on this and kind of... Alright, so phone died on me. Sorry about that. So I'll just connect the two videos. Anyhow, yep, that's the Glock 29. Now, what have I done to it? 17 round mag. I do that with both my 10 mils and my other two 9 mils. That's that quick stuff. That 60 grain bulletproof vest, ripping through ammo. Let's see, what did I do to this? I know I did the connector. Yeah, I didn't really do much to this either. The connector is a 3.5 pound connector, and everything else is the same. The guide rod is it's the plastic double recoil guide rod. Yeah, everything else in here is stock. Again, polished barrel, so polished feed ramp. Okay. And that's it. That's it. Didn't do a lot to this guy. Just the stippling and the 3.5 pound connector is all that was done to this Glock 29. Now, I could, redo the stippling and make it look a lot better and blah, 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 but the fact that it actually feels good, I don't feel the need to change that. Who is this? You guys know who this is. This is Glockzilla. This is my baby. This is my everything. Okay. If you think about it, when you look at those Gen 5s, they changed that on the Gen 5s. You see that on the G40 Moss. The finish on this slide is not the regular finish that you see on the other Glocks. It's the same kind of finish that you see on the Gen 5s. So a lot of that they put on the Gen 5s was already on the G40 Moss and the Gen 4 G34s. I believe it was. So slide release, I upgraded that. Small fingers, had to get to it, right? The magazine release, I still can't really get to it. I have to adjust a little bit to drop it, but it's not too bad. Okay, I just adjust a little bit, boom, I can drop it. I also polished the barrel on this one. And what did I do on the inside? Oh, this is stippled. This is stippled from the same guy that did the Glock 29, but he's a much better now. And so this looks a lot better than the 29. It's still not the prettiest thing in the world, but it's still a lot better than the 29. This was before I knew how to stipple myself. So it's a good grip. It's an awesome grip. I can't complain. It's not as good as Scarface, but it is still a good grip. Yeah, I got the extended slide release. I have an upgraded connector, edge in here that takes it to 3.5. These come 4.5 pound triggers, the G40 Moss, not 5.5. It comes in 4.5. And the trigger spring is upgraded in here also. Everything else is stock. Okay, everything else is stock. Polished feed ramp, polished barrel. I did all that, but besides that, it's all stock. So just the firing pin, not firing pin, the trigger spring and the connector, the slide release, and the grip was modified on this. And that's it. And this thing feels like it's running on wheels. That feels like it's running on wheels, literally. That is the best feeling slide rack you're going to get in any kind of Glock, is what you get with a G40 Moss. Glockzilla, baby. My pride and joy, that's my baby right there. And I am going to get a sight to put up here, and I'm going to get a light to put on here very soon. And they come with adjustable, most of them come with adjustable rears. And I'll be taking it hunting. Hopefully I can get within 50 yards. I'm using this rather than my rifle. This is the holster I use. This holster works for all my guns. They're simple for me. A holster, picking a holster is simple for me. It doesn't matter what gun you put it in. It's kind of universal. At least with my Glocks, it doesn't matter. They all fit in the same holster. I just put this thing on the inside, clip it around my pants or belt, and whichever one I choose to wear, I put it in there, and I keep going. Now, when you look on the outside, what's showing here? What's showing there is the same thing you're going to get with the Glock 17. Of course, we know that it's just slightly thicker. That's it. So, same holster, Don Hume, and that's all of them.